And it's Wednesday. Thank you very much for dropping in on TNT, Hump Day as some people call it. And thank you to all those people that subscribed yesterday. We're closing in very quickly on 19,000. I'm staggered, stunned literally every day, but I really do appreciate the support for the program. Now, you're here for the news, so let's go to this one from the Bangkok Post. And the general election has been announced for May the 14th. So we're well and truly now, even though we've sort of been in this de facto election campaign, it's now on for real. And the story goes on to say that the Election Commission announced the date for the polls yesterday, a day after the dissolution of the House of Representatives, after the commissioners approved the proposed timeline. Dates for application for registration of constituency candidates are from the 3rd to the 7th at specific locations. So we're now going through this process of an election in Thailand. They only do it every 4 years, unless there's a coup. So it does take a little bit to get the wheels of motion moving again. Now, a lot of people were saying or asking questions yesterday, well, you know, they've got this decision to make about the extension of the 45-day visa waiver. Now they've closed Parliament. Can't they do this? Well, the caretaker government, the current Parliament basically, continues until a new Parliament can be formed, and a decision like the extension of the 45-day visa waiver can be made without having to go to Parliament anyway. So hopefully sometime between now and the 31st of March, they'll make a decision on that one. Anyway, back to the news. The Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha says it's time to move forward towards the elections. Unofficial campaigning's been underway for weeks. I'd say probably months. Now, to a few disturbing stories, and they have a bit of a theme here. The Nation's covering the story that 3 police have been charged with kidnapping a Chinese man in botched scam. And 3 police officers were arrested yesterday for allegedly kidnapping a Chinese national and his female interpreter during a botched passport renewal scam at the Changwatana government complex in Bangkok. And police are seeking one other suspect who's also a police officer. Now, a lot of us already have got misgivings about heading off to immigration to do our 90-day reporting or the odd renewal, if only for the long queues and the delays, but something we really don't want to be worrying about, is it? So the 4 suspects allegedly demanded a ransom of 2 million baht in cryptocurrency. In return for releasing the Chinese man, they were arrested in the Changwatana and Don Mueang areas. Now, this is where the big immigration office is, up near the Impact Arena. Taken to the Dindang police station for interrogation, they were initially charged with extortion and misconduct of duty. So the story is quite long and convoluted, and of course you can go to nationthailand.com if you want to read the whole thing in detail, but I'll try and zoom through the main details. Ms. A, that's the assistant to the Chinese man, said that she and Tilang, who was the name of the Chinese man, were then kidnapped by 5 suspects who turned up at the house in 3 cars, and she said that Tilang's driver friend assisted the suspects. So it looks like one of his staff is in on this game. The suspects then drove the pair around Changwatana for 4 to 5 hours before sending Tilang and Ms. A back to their soy. And Tilang's Chinese friend had earlier advised him he could stay in Thailand by using a Thai citizen's ID card at the government complex. So the assistant said that the Chinese man admitted the suspect had asked for 60,000 in some cryptocurrency valued around 2 million baht, but they got that down to 30,000, which presumably is around about 1 million Thai baht. The Chinese man asked his son to transfer the cryptocurrency to the suspects, and the assistant said that she contacted the police because she feared for her own safety. She said powerful government officials may be involved in the case. So it looks like there's a lot more digging to be done through the entrails of the Thai Immigration Department to root out this corruption. But there's a twist to the story, and police checked the Chinese man's history and found that he was using a Thai ID card of a Samut Prakan resident, a 55-year-old, to perform transactions. They said they would investigate to find out whether that person was still alive and how the Chinese man had obtained his ID card. So it looks like the Chinese man is not exonerated himself from any misdoings. So that is a disturbing story, also reported in coconuts.co. The Royal Thai Police made headlines again for its own criminality, with 4 immigration officers arrested yesterday on warrants alleging they kidnapped and extorted a Chinese man and his 38-year-old translator, and the incident happened back on March the 10th. And the head of the Royal Thai Police instructed his officers to fight their impulses to engage in severe crime because they could just possibly ruin the image of Thailand's police. Well, just seriously for a moment, I think we're at a stage with all the publicity that we've had over the past couple of months involving corruption and Thai immigration officials, that it's high time to rebuild from the ground up the trust between Thai immigration and the people coming in for a couple of days, or the people that have been staying here for 5, 10, 20 years. The expats that rely on the Thai immigration to stay in this wonderful country. So from the ground up, there is a whole lot of work to be done by Thai immigration officials who just look like corrupt fools at the moment, and a lot of work will need to be done. Now, not involving Thai immigration, but leading into a similar story, this reported in the Pattaya News.com. Chinese woman abducted for 4.7 million baht ransom. And a Chinese woman's been abducted while getting her kid, I think means picking up her child, at a school in Pattaya. Her husband filed a complaint with the police, saying the suspect wanted 4.7 million baht in exchange for his wife's freedom. She was 33 years old, and she was taken away by an anonymous abductor while she was going to get her 3-year-old son at an international school in Pattaya. Now, we should say that this story is currently ongoing, and at the time of publishing this particular program, she was still kidnapped. And going on, the woman's husband said the suspect forced their way into his wife's car, abducted her along with the vehicle. They then contacted him via WeChat, ordered him to transfer 1 million Chinese yuan, which is equivalent to 4.7 million baht. The police are working with the man to liberate the hostage. The Chinese husband revealed the abductors frequently called him yesterday, and so far he's paid them about 17,000 baht in stable coins. The wife, according to the police, is safe as the suspects let her talk. However, her location is still unknown, and as I said, that's at the time of publishing this particular program. The motive behind the kidnapping is believed to be related to a conflict of interest between the man and the suspects involved in the healthcare business in Myanmar. And down the bottom, police are interviewing the victim's husband to identify the perpetrators. The search for the kidnapped wife is continuing. Very disturbing story there from the Pattaya News.com. Thanks to Adam and his team there. And thanks to 5-Star Marine. They're going to send me out into Phang Nga Bay. I think I'm going off next Tuesday. And I found out yesterday where I'm heading to. I'm going to leave it all as a bit of a surprise for you. But if you'd like to come to Phuket and go out on a private tour with a premium yacht charter company, then 5-Star Marine would be a great place to start. There's a link in the description under there somewhere in this video. This is the Wednesday TNT program. Thank you very much for your support. And if you've got just a moment before you leave today, just click on that subscribe button and I'd be eternally grateful. And we go to a story now from ASEANnow.com. Latest online drama. Southern beach sculptures cost nearly 5 million baht. Shades of Lamp Post Gate. Do you remember Lamp Post Gate? Those very expensive lampposts? I thought they looked pretty good, but wow. Were they expensive? We'll find out a bit more about that later. There, just to put the whole story in context, is one of those particular sculptures. I think the whole lot of them cost 5 million baht. Up to you whether you think they were worth it. And Thai Rath reported that there was a drama playing out online after a post by a whistleblower who published pictures of the sculptures at a beach in southern Thailand. There's a giant squid, a prawn on shells, seahorses, a crab and a marlin. We'll see some photos of those in a moment. And they cost nearly 5 million baht and were supposed to be rust resistant from exposure to seawater, as they were zinc alloy covered in brass, but 2 of them had to be removed temporarily after suffering damage. Now, it doesn't say whether the damage was caused by them going allegedly rusty or some other damage. And the artwork is at the popular Pattaya beach in Pattani. Sorry if I pronounced Pattaya incorrectly. The mayor said she was not worried by the furor. The Office of National Anti-Corruption Commission have already investigated twice, a couple of years ago. And they're trying to compare this with Lamppost Gate, saying it's a scandal in many places in Thailand where local officials allegedly creamed money off the top after fancy lampposts adorned with expensive figures were installed on streets. And there's some of the artwork. Obviously, that's the crab, the seahorses, and the prawn on shells. I think they all look pretty good, and if people are going down to the beach enjoying the artwork, and if all the money went to the sculpture, then if they're posting those photos and visiting the beach, then everybody's happy as far as I can see. Go to our next story now, and suggesting that limited appetite for overseas excursions. Story published by the Bangkok Post. And while there were heavy bookings for April under the government's domestic hotel subsidy scheme, so the Thai government still paying Thai people to encourage them to go on domestic travel, the number of outbound tourists during the Songkran holiday period remains low, and the president of the Thai Travel Agents Association says outbound travel during April, the peak season, because of the Songkran holidays, would be more sluggish than usual because of high travel costs, mainly attributed to expensive airfares. He said the recovery rate for Thailand's outbound market in April was just 30% of the corresponding period prior to COVID-19, with the prices of tour packages remaining 30% higher than usual. For example, tour packages to Europe currently cost around 90 to 100,000 baht compared to 60 to 70,000 baht prior to 2020. And the managing director of Quality Express says that the whole tourism industry is still plagued by a severe labour shortage, which has caused inconvenience in terms of service in Thailand and many destinations, particularly at airports. So this is something that I hear every single day. People in the hospitality and the tourism industry saying they simply can't get good staff at the moment. And I know some of you have had your own theories about why this is, but for whatever reason, whether these people have found something better to do during COVID, they're simply not coming back to tourism and hospitality, which is pushing up the costs for all the major jobs. And this is going to flow down at some stage to you. You're going to be the ones paying the additional. Now, just about the 45-day visa waiver. Now, of course, it's going to finish on the 31st of March, unless it's extended. If it is not extended, it'll go back to 30 days. And it looks like at least one immigration officer is being a little bit cute about this. We received this message yesterday. We'll just call the person Mr. Lee, who says, I arrived today, March the 21st. My arrival date was the 21st of March, but my date out was stamped as May the 1st. So I was given 9 days for the rest of March, plus 30 days for April to May, totaling 41. So I'm not going to go through the fuzzy math there, but you can see what they're trying to do. Just a little bit cute there from at least one immigration officer. I would have thought that until at least March 31st that people would be stamped in for 45 days, but somebody's decided to get their calculator out or take their shoes and socks off and slightly shortchange. Thank you, Mr. Lee, for sending that through. Now, another ongoing story, and this reported by the PhuketNews.com, Patong bar operators called on to combat child sex trafficking, and the president of the Patong Entertainment Business Association is calling on bar and nightlife venue operators in Patong to actively keep an eye out for and to report any suspected activities that might indicate child sex trafficking in the area. A lot of people seem to be quite blind to this ongoing problem of human trafficking that's happening really right under our noses. And the plea came at a meeting of bar and other entertainment venue business operators following the raid of the Velvet Bar in Soi Sea Dragon off Bangla Road last week that uncovered a child sex trafficking network. Some 5 15-year-olds were found working as prostitutes. And he said that the incident affects the image of all entertainment venues on Bangla Road and throughout the whole of Patong. And this case has caused damage to the Patong economy of at least 100 million baht over the past 7 days. And he argued against the bars and nightlife venues in Patong being forced to close at 1 a.m. So it looks like there has been some sort of arbitrary punitive action against the Patong bars, closing them at 1 a.m. And the story goes on to say that when the bars close early, tourists gather at the beach. This has created alcohol trade on the beach. Some of the vendors even bring chairs to put on the beach. So a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to people being kicked out of the bars at 1, heading down the beach to continue their night. Let's head over to another island now, into the Gulf of Thailand. And a Russian man arrested on Koh Phangan for 993 days of overstaying, and this reported by the Phuket Express.com. A 34-year-old Russian man was arrested on Phangan Island in Suratani for 993 days, and down the bottom there he was taken to the Koh Phangan police station to face overstaying charges and is awaiting to be deported. And I was just thinking, if you're a 34-year-old Russian man, you probably don't want to be sent back to Russia at the moment. Looks like he arrived sometime during COVID, and he decided to stay. But the Immigration Department have had second thoughts about that situation, and he'll be sent back home. Now, that's it for today's stories. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date with what's happening around Thailand at the moment. Been great having you with us. I do appreciate your support. Please subscribe to the channel on the way out. Maybe even click that like button. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.